Hello. My name is Kim Addis, and I'm the president and founder of Frame of Mind Coaching. And you have just joined the Frame of Mind Coaching podcast, where what we do is we bring on leaders to the podcast and coach them live and in person. Today, it is my pleasure to introduce my guest. Her name is Danna Bowman, and she is the co-founder of Thyroid Refresh. Danna, welcome.
Hi, it's great to be here.
So you're in North Carolina.
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're sitting outside. I think you're outside. It looks like you're in a really warm environment. I'm sitting here with my wrap because I'm in Toronto and it's not that hot. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do in North Carolina? What is Thyroid Refresh? Just give us a little bit of a sense for who you are and what you're up to.
Well, I'm a Texan who moved to Costa Rica for 8 glorious years. We picked up and moved sight unseen with our kids, and we didn't know anybody or anything, didn't speak the language in 2008.
Why did you go?
We were trying to get out of the rat race.
Okay.
We wanted to do something different and disrupt the norm. And we were tired of just, working and going out to dinner and shopping and then going to soccer on Saturday. It just wasn't working. And we knew there had to be more. So we just decided we were going to sell everything and pick up and move to Costa Rica. And we did in 2008. And it was incredible. And of course we had to learn the language, and we didn't even know what the currency was. It's a colones, by the way. And so we lived there, and I got diagnosed while living there with Hashimoto's thyroid disease. Correctly diagnosed, which is, I come to find out later, very odd, because it's a hard thing to correctly get diagnosed here in the States, much less in a semi third world country. So I did get correctly diagnosed, but I was only able to get on one type of medication, which did not serve me at all.
Okay.
And so I kind of got worse. So
what were the signals of your disease? Like, what were the symptoms?
Well, for me, energy. I didn't have any energy. I couldn't sleep well. And I would get so absolutely lethargic after teaching. I was a Zumba instructor, and I also taught aqua Zumba. And so I would teach and I would be wiped out beyond all belief. Well, you're supposed to exercise. And I was just exercising. Exercise is supposed to be good for you. And it was crushing me to have to take a couple hour nap. And so it just didn't seem like it was jiving. And then I had this really low grade fever. For me, this was just a strange symptom. I had constipation. My hair was very brittle. My fingernails were thin. Brain fog. I couldn't concentrate. I couldn't remember things. There was just a slew of things that were going on. And so I did get diagnosed, and then I started taking just a T4 medication. And I started getting worse. After about a year, I decided maybe I should start asking questions and not just listen directly to the doctor and take their word. Although doctors are amazing and we need them, I needed to be my own advocate. So I kind of came into that within about a year. And once I started asking questions, the world opened up to me. I started an online website called Thyroid Nation. And then I started a podcast, which back at the 2014 was not the norm. And so
You
learned a lot about.
You were ahead of your time.
I was, and we learned a lot about what not to do. And we were on Blog Talk Radio, and I was mentioning earlier to your stepson that, I remember being under a full blanket and being live. We did our show live because that's, kind of the way we did it. Like you're doing, I guess you're kind of recording right now. So anyway, but we were live and people could call in, and I was hiding because the rain was so loud on our little roof, our little Tico home, because we were living in Costa Rica and it was the rainy season. So, it was a fun time.
So I'm kind of curious, you came back from Costa Rica when?
In 2016.
Okay. And why did you come back?
It was time. We'd been there for 8 years, and the kids were just ready for something other than soccer and more soccer and more soccer, right? That's what they do in Central and South America and around the world. Soccer's the, most popular sport in the world. And, my daughter was like, I want to maybe try gymnastics or something else. So it really started with that. It really started with the kids just kind of wanting to do more, explore more, and kind of grow into themselves without just it being soccer. So we knew we
Okay.
could provide that by coming back to the States. So we did.
So you came back 4 years ago, and now what are you up to? Like, you're still doing the thyroid stuff, but
I
what
am. I
else?
sold my first website, started another one with an amazing chef friend. Her name is Jenny Mahar, and we co-founded Thyroid Refresh and Thyroid30. And our idea was amazing. We wanted to give thyroid patients worldwide a platform so that they could connect, because that's such a thing. You feel so alone when you have thyroid disease. You feel like nobody gets you. They call it an invisible illness because you can't really tell when someone's walking around with like, dying fatigue and their hair's falling out. You can't see it falling out, right? And so we created a web app called Thyroid30, and it's like a 30-day challenge, and it happens 4 times a year. It's a blast. You score yourself on the honor system on 8 daily rituals that we came up with. They're called the 8 R's, and you give yourself a point for remembering to take your medicine and getting your sleep goal, hitting your sleep goal, and things like that. So we created this web app game called Thyroid30. It lives on Thyroid Refresh, and we launched it in 2018, and it's just been amazing.
Okay. So where are you now? What is your greatest challenge?
So I was doing all the things that you're supposed to do as, a thyroid patient. I was eating all the right things and gluten-free and going to the doctors and the naturopathic doctors, and I was doing all the things, and I was on the right path to having my energy and brain fog and all of that coming back, but it was taking a long time. And I got introduced to a frequency medicine device called the Healy in, I guess it was January of last year. And so I said, I'm definitely going to try this. I'm open to anything. And within, I don't know, I'd say, I don't know, the first couple of weeks, I immediately felt more energy. I immediately knew that I was on to something. It's basically a microcurrent frequency device, and it's changing the way we approach wellness for one, but it optimizes the body's cellular, emotional, and energetic levels, and it activates self-healing. It brings us back into bioenergetic balance. It basically enhances recovery and vitality, and it's just exploding all over the world. And so about 3 weeks in, I started noticing I had more energy, and then all of a sudden my husband said, "What's your migraine pain level at today?" And I said, "Oh my God, I don't have a migraine. I've had them since I was 10. This is crazy." That was my aha moment. I was like, I have to tell everybody, this is the best thing. And then I found out it was a network marketing business model.
Heavy sigh.
Yeah.
Why the heavy
And
sigh?
well, I had grown up with a stigma living in the States that, MLMs, network marketing, and just getting over that. And even I was thinking, even if I could get over it, how do I get the people over it that I know have it? That stigma of, oh no, because I actually worked at a corporate office of Mary Kay Cosmetics, which is a worldwide cosmetic MLM. And I never worked on the outside as a consultant, although people would ask me all the time, "Why aren't you a consultant?" And in my head, I would think, because it just doesn't resonate with me. I wasn't one who wanted to have parties, even though I like to go to parties. And I didn't want to host them, and that pressure that I felt when you go to the parties, and I felt uncomfortable. It just didn't work for me. I didn't want to keep inventory, and I didn't want to have to, you know, compete against like other people. Like it felt like this kind of competition. If you have these people, then I'm going to have a party too. And have it. None of it resonated with me.
Also, pink Cadillacs weren't your thing.
No. I mean, if someone's going to give me a pink Cadillac, I suppose I would have driven it. But yeah, right.
Okay.
And so, I just saw one of those the other day, which is amazing. Anyway, and so I was like, oh no, big heavy sigh, like you said. And then I started realizing, well, maybe I'll give it a shot, because there are no parties. Well, and number one, we were in COVID, so no parties. And I I realized you have to have inventory, and there was a binary system. So you build your team, and your team works together to help you build. And I was like, wow, that's a different model. And so I thought, I'm going to give this a try. I really love it. And I feel like it would be a disservice to people if I didn't share, because I'm having such amazing results. So I dove in, but you asked for my biggest struggle, and there it is.
So define it. What is your biggest struggle? Like, just say it in one sentence.
I don't like the stigma around network marketing.
Okay. So it's very interesting, right? Because I have a whole bunch of thoughts. Have you heard of the field or the industry of coaching?
Oh, well,
There's like a
maybe.
million coaches out there,
Oh,
right?
coaching. Yes, 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 definitely.
Right? There's a million coaches out there, and one could say they're a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
And, one could also say that, do they really help? Who's really good? How do you tell? How do you differentiate yourself from the mold? And at this point, coaching also has a bit of a stigma attached to it, right? Wouldn't you
Mm-hmm.
say?
Yeah.
But for me, I completely and utterly look at myself in a different category. So there's this playing field out there, and I'm like, okay, let them play. I'm going over there. Why? Because I for myself, I don't feel like I fit in. I don't feel like I relate to the vast majority of coaches. I feel like I think about coaching differently. I think about the fact that I perform coaching differently and deliver coaching differently. I think about the fact that I teach coaching differently. And so first of all, it's, the way you think about what you do lumps you into the category of all of them. And so the first part is for you to think about yourself differently. Because if you think about yourself like that, that's what you are, right? So for starters, so you have to sort of pull yourself back and say, what is the difference between what I'm doing and how I perceive MLMs to be?
I love that. Yeah,
Okay, so
that
for
works. I
me,
like that.
so for me, how do I differentiate myself? I differentiate myself in 4 ways. And I'm very specific. I call them the 4 P's, right? So how do I coach? The 4 P's are the philosophy. And the philosophy is that we look at how leaders think and how their thinking impacts their outcomes. Right now, in your case, your thinking is leading you to feel uncomfortable because you're lumping yourself in that category.
Mm-hmm.
So philosophy, process.
Philosophy, process.
What do? We use journaling as a centerpiece of our process. We have calls once a week. We record every call and we ask our clients to journal with their coach. I have a team of coaches every single day. So the process involves daily contact. So philosophy, process,
Process.
platform, which is our journaling software where they communicate with their coach in a private and secure manner. And then the last one is our people. It's our coaches. And every single one of our coaches is a highly driven leader who was a client first. And they love their experience so much that they decided to get certified in the frame of mind coaching method and become one of my coaches. So the 4
Mm.
P's. And I will say there's a bit of a 5th P, but it's not a P. It's our target market. Who are our clients? And they're very narrowly defined. They are people who are highly driven, who have large goals that they want to achieve, who are good people and want to leave the world a better place, who like the finer things in life, travel, experience, food, accomplishment, revenue, a nice house, a nice car, etc., who want all those things and have something that frustrates them. And typically it kind of sounds like this. I'm impatient. I don't understand what's taking so long. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be further along. What's what's holding me up? What's slowing me down? Why can't other people get on board? All that kind of chatter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very clear about what I do, how I do it, who I do it for. And I will say to you that my process, my philosophy, my point of view in lots of areas is substantially different than the rest of the coaching world. Okay, so I'm really proud of my company and the service we deliver. And I do not think of myself in the pool of coaches. I just don't. So now when we come back to you, how do you differentiate yourself? And I will say this. I think one of the strongest elements of the MLM system, okay, just let's call it a system, is not only the product that you're endorsing or selling, it's the organization itself, it's the community, and it's the growth-minded approach of this community. So if I were you, I would say, how do I uniquely build my team? Unlike all the other teams in the world, what can I do? What can I have in place? What are my 4 Ps that creates a team that's loyal and dedicated and inspired? What are my, not Healy's 4 Ps, but what are my Danna Bowman's 4 Ps?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And again, I'm using P's as an example.
Right.
You could have, you know, any
L.
other letter in the alphabet. But what is your formula that sets you apart and provides the community, the learning, the feeling that people want to belong to?
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts?
No, I'm just kind of, processing. I'm just kind of thinking, you nailed a few things. You talked about community and leaders. And I want to be someone, first of all, fun, right? Life is too short. So I'm fun.
Yeah.
So I definitely bring that to the table. I'm fun. I'm engaging. Life should be that way. I'm
You're definitely
passionate.
fun. I agree.
And I'm passionate about the product. The product is unbelievable. It's a game changer. It's a unicorn product. It's a conscious product. It is a category creator. There is nothing like it out there. And all of those things really resonate with me. So my passion, if I'm sticking with the P, one of them for me is, I have passion and I can share the passion and inspire people to have the passion. Right.
Amazing.
And to understand the product and to believe in the product.
So you have passion,
really
you have product.
I do. I have passion and product. And, I don't know what we can P with the community, but
Purpose.
Purpose. Yeah, my purpose. It's a really good, thank you. Oh, you're so good at this. Oh, purpose is really big for me because, of course, money is wonderful. I love to make money. I have no money blocks that I can think of right now, or I'm working through any of them that I can think of. Money is just an exchange of energy, and money is also a portal to show what kind of impact you can make.
You want another P?
I want to make a huge impact. Yes.
And the other P, I think, is priority being health, right? The priority of health. So P is your priority, and health, because without health, what is there? Not much, right?
No.
So you're creating a concept. And you're creating a concept that separates you. Yes, there are a lot of MLM products, but here's how we do things. Here's how I do things. Here are the people we attract. Here are the people who want to be. So you're defining. The more you define, the more people self-select. The more people say, that's me.
I'm going to start crying. Wow. Truly. Right? Yeah. I like that a lot.
So rather than saying MLM, I belong to that, you say, no. I belong to this. This is what I'm creating. If you want to be a part of this, come join me.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Good.
Great.
I hope that was helpful. I hope that was valuable. I hope that gave you something to think about.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you.
I want to thank you for coming on to this podcast. I think your challenge was very interesting because a lot of times we're involved with something where something doesn't quite align. And when it doesn't quite align, it's very hard for us to take off like a rocket. And so we have to figure out a way to make it align. We have to
Mhm.
think about it differently. We have to approach it differently. And we have to address the beliefs that are standing in the way of our success. And so hopefully we jiggled a little for you and helped you get more aligned, a little more aligned.
We jiggled and danced our way through that.
We
Yes, we
jiggled a
did.
little, right? Danna, thank you for being on the podcast. For those of you who are listening, if you have a not a podcast, if you have a challenge
Mhm.
that you want to share on the podcast, please reach out to me. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. And if you have a challenge that you're not quite comfortable sharing on this podcast, please reach out to me anyways. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. Danna, thank you so much. One more thing, where do people find you if they want to find out more about this Healy thing?
Just find me on Facebook. Sassy Danna should be pretty easy.
And
Just
it's
friend me on Facebook. SASSYDANNA with 2 N's.
DANNA, 2 N's. Thank you so much. And I am sure our paths are going to cross regularly.
I can't wait.